Okay, I'm about to head out. Everything I love dies. Magi Nation died. Custom Robo died. Golden Sun died. Why does everything I love die? I'm glad YouTube is a repository for content centered on dead media. Where would we be without a place to cry about our favorite mediocre intellectual property? On that note, Shaman King, a product of late 90s Shonen Jump and perhaps mildly inspired by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The mangaka, Hiroyuki Takei, left his manga dead in the water multiple times and got the IP bumped from Jump. Well, not all the way, but it's a pretty complicated situation. The series is one foot in the spirit realm, for lack of a better word. I know, Shaman King is best known in the West because of its incredible 4Kids dub. We don't talk about that. If you don't know, Shaman King's about people who talk to ghosts, make friends with ghosts, and try to use the power of their best friend Ghost to become the God King of the universe for the next 500 years. Most of these characters are 14. Now, Shaman King was relevant in that little gaming sweet spot between the end of the PS1 era to the end of the PS2 era. All kinds of titles were released in all kinds of genres, and while many never made it to the West, we got some pretty quality stuff. Okay, some stuff of variable quality. Let's check them out. I want to start strong, so hey, Shaman King Castlevania! Made by Konami and inspired by Aria of Sorrow, Shaman King Master of Spirits is demonstrably good. This ain't your classic low-budget anime fighter. All the Shaman King characters show up, you traverse levels full of obstacles and familiar enemies, and on theme with the series, collect spirits that you can equip to do special attacks or power you up passively. Even if you're not a fan, this is like the perfect starting point. It's got surprisingly pretty music and strong atmosphere for a Game Boy game. It's got memorable and intelligent enemy placements that ramp up so much by the end of the game. It's got crazy, brutal, balanced special moves that are all really unique and cool. Look at this giant laser! This character is 13. I thought I was just being nostalgic, but I've beaten this game 3 to 4 times now, and it's been great every time. But it's not just that the levels are so beautifully done and genuinely challenging, because the game honestly isn't easy. If you're not respecting it, you're gonna get wrecked. It's that it's the perfect intersection of content and fan service. Seriously, I know like 95% of you guys don't know what all the stuff on screen is, but it's such a crazy nostalgia trip and such an incredible feeling to see an almost dead franchise represented in a quality game at a quality price. That's so rare for anime games, dude. The boss battles are the best part, not because they're overly challenging, though some really are tough, but because they capture the characters so well. The early rival character is daunting and aggressive with all these giant moves that track you all over the screen. The kung fu guy flies across the stage and pummels you mercilessly. This little punk-ass kid tries to kill you with Big Ben. Absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. The series reminds me so much of why I thought anime was neat when I was younger. To me, it was this endless supply of strange alternative art and culture, this wellspring of interesting ideas that dared to be unique so much more than what Western media provided. Even if it's mostly based on Japanese cultural tropes, it just looks cool. And Konami doubled down with a sequel, Master of Spirits 2, which is just so good, dude. Like, I love how much content is in the first. I love the progression. I can sit down and beat it top to bottom in a sitting. The second is more of the first and then some. More spirits, more enemies, more levels, more bosses. There's all this extra content that doesn't even really matter, but it's in the game regardless, and they put in a boss fight mode. That was the one thing I wanted from the first. I would literally make saves outside of boss levels because I wanted to replay them. Just being able to go back and fight whoever with whatever, oh, it's such a fangasm. And they even put in Hao, you know, who didn't appear in the last game, even though he's the antagonist of the series, and his fight's super tough and cool. Oh, sorry, Zeke. That's Zeke. I know, man, I love this series, and you're thinking, why? It looks like a typical battle manga. Why do you care? 30-foot sword. Okay, the game I'm gonna show you isn't exactly good. Now, would you be mad at me if I said I bought this when I was 16, unironically? Shaman King is a Pokemon clone. For a series that's mostly about bonding with a single spirit partner and getting stronger, it's kind of crazy to make a monster tamer game where you capture ghosts in mortuary tablets, okay, and battle them and destroy their souls permanently by fusing them with others. Is that a fetish? Is that like Solvor? This Pokemon Blue and Red style game is aggressively bad. Because, for example, fans are mad about Pokemon reusing animation in 2019. Well, what if there was no animation? Your stupid little JPEGs just stare at each other until someone dies. Also, you just press A a lot. And that's what I call gameplay. So the spirits you find, much unlike most of the show and manga, are just normal-ass things. Dead dog spirit, McDonald's girl, fucking bowling guy. Oh shit, they got hide and seek 1? Austin Eruption actually covered this already, and I'm a little jealous that I can't make the McDonald's girl licking you joke, but I mentioned Solvor. Basically, you combine spirits to make new ones, or just make your main dude stronger. And you're probably only going to use your main dude because spamming his attacks is the dominant strategy, but to be fair, you can make some great stuff, you know? All really classic entities of the spirit world, like a hammer, a fish, a strange person. Wait, oh my god, I get it now! Japanese clothes woman plus child equals movie critic! Okay, this game is awful, and the story only follows the manga up to a point before going completely insane and doing a journey to the west thing and introducing a fake villain and all kinds of dumb stuff. I don't know, it can be kind of fun if you like pedantry. Okay, let's reel back. Shaman King is a Shonen Jump franchise, a battle manga. Where the hell are the fighters? Well, mostly in Japan. I covered a PS1 fighter like this in my Inuyasha video, and it turns out this game, Spirit of Shamans, was that game's progenitor. And yeah, they're almost identical. Both sprite-based 2D fighters with extremely simple controls. Basically everything you'd want as a fan. It's the standard stuff, a story mode, a bunch of weird mini-games, I guess, training mode, etc. But that's all expected. The roster in this game is enormous, at least for the time. It really tickles the fan bones. What the f is that sentence? To include just about every major shaman from the series. Mad respect for including Iron Maiden Jean, even if it's just her spirit. Super cool addition. Oh my god! Did they put a f***ing guillotine in my game? F it, this game's insta-10! It's so satisfying seeing all the characters look so clean and sharp. I'm serious, I wanted a fighter for this franchise so bad. I like how they rendered the spirits instead of spriting them to make them really pop out. And man, the characters just look so good. Ryu's cocky stance and animations, and huge badass attacks. Horo riding his snowboard mid-combat. Feast eyes! I could go on. Every aspect of the characters is just so faithfully recreated. Why didn't we get this game? I will say, the story is pretty prohibitive to English speakers. You need to be able to do this quiz at one point, but I can't read this, what? Make it stop! I guess the issue is there's not much to see. If you're not a fan, you'd just be playing Street Fighter or something. At the very least, it's easy to hop in and play, and the character designs are colorful enough and convey the charisma you'd expect from a game selling itself on people beating each other to death. You know, all the special moves are pretty cool too. Oh god, the legend is real. Not the Bodhi Boys, no! Next game bad. Okay guys, it's time. The arrival of a true next-gen Shaman King 3D fighter. Here it comes. I'm so excited. Funbari Spirits is extremely good at writing a great first sentence and subsequently losing the thesis. It looks good. I mean, it's got nice cell shading. Everyone looks clean aside from Anna's enormous melon head, but the charm is purely surface level. Excuse me. What? Legends say the game had a competent combat system, but because the game is the equivalent of a coma patient, the system we got is only the fleeting memory of how the developers once conceived of the word. Combat is mashing one button enough times until you do a special attack. I'm not kidding. Okay, you have a heavy attack, or you know, a boot to the head, but that's hardly reliable when you can just mash the button 10 times and get bonus damage for it. You can block and evade and even call in supports, and while these elements lend depth to a weak system, they can't salvage the shaky base. The roster is average, the combat is limp, and the single player is literally walking around in these non-areas, these fully rendered mini-zones with no real purpose except to talk to whatever NPC and do whatever battle. It'd be easier and probably cheaper to just do the talking heads thing if that's all you got going on. Also, and this is super nerdy and doesn't matter, but Shaman King, Mr. Takei, whomever, why? I've been avoiding this issue the whole video, but Chocolove is just the worst. Like, never mind that his name is a portmanteau of chocolate and love, right? Never mind his appearance that got censored in the West for probably obvious reasons. Chocolove is a character that started as a poor New York street thug and ended his manga run doing jail time. Excellent work, Takei, sir. Can I get an Oscar for this man? Also, he's the comic relief character. Side-eye intensifies. I don't think Chocolove has any fans or accomplished anything of value. And to top it off, you gave him probably the worst outfit in media. Or was that this one? Damn, dude, that's a twofer! Finally, a game. Apparently, if you search this game up, you always get pictures of the battle screen. That's nice and all. I mean, wow, it looks like a sick 3D brawler kind of game. Just what I was looking for. What are you, dumb? This game came to America, and it's pretty bizarre. Firstly, it's single player, so no, this isn't a fighting game. Secondly, it's actually a fusion of a tactical RPG and a fighter. You know, the combo everyone was asking for. Gameplay takes place on a grid, and you move around and attack people like a tactics game. You can do special abilities and use items or whatever, but the bulk of the gameplay is the fighting. Having played a good chunk in the past, I'm honestly shocked they even bothered with the tactical aspect of the game, because at almost no point is it used to any worthwhile effect. You know, when you put people on grids, you're saying this is a war game. There's gonna be tactical advantages to positioning and whatnot, but no. I mean, forgive me if there are, but if they're there, the game either didn't tell me or it didn't impact the experience at all. No, the challenge is picking good fights and fighting well. It starts you off with easy one-on-one affairs, but quickly ramps up to 1v2s, 1v3s, just really trashy, unfair situations that suck your hit points out for free, constantly sucker punching you into using consumable healing items. I hate this kind of game design. I'm a pretty technically minded player, and I couldn't really find a way around the bonus hits that was simple and consistent to do. Oh wait. It's them! No! I don't know, it's slow and unfun, and the combos, as expected, involve mashing one button. Good luck getting any combos off when skeletons are jamming their bones up your butt. By the way, half the game is story cutscenes, and they're dubbed, so I'm about to join the spirit realm. You gotta love the dub writing, you know? Ryu gets some pretty good lines. Yes, what's the rumpus indeed? Probably the worst thing about having someone else do the writing for a creator's work is the amount of flanderization that goes on in the process. Like, Anna is a super cold and bitchy character in the show. At least in the manga, she's got an explanation for it, but that's spoilers. Here, Anna's just an abusive girlfriend, without question. Like, hey, Yoh's a cool dude. Heck the frick off. We also get the fanfiction character Meryl, who speaks in first person, you know, the most endearing character trait that totally works in the West. Except no, it doesn't, and you're cancelled. I just look at games like this and shake my head. This could have been that super cool 3D brawler. The environments are pretty nice and the effects are decent. The game runs well and the only trouble is the core. Who knows how good it could have been as a Power Stone clone. But at least in a 1v1 you can lock the enemy down with well-timed inputs, so that's fun. Shaman King has a surprising number of games for how few people remember it. All kinds of stuff, card games, weird RPGs, and no other creator on the platform is taking a stand on it, and I have to. Like, the best you can get from Shaman King is the Master of Spirits games, right? And the Jump All-Stars games, which are just A+, and modding Yoh into Jump Force, because apparently, Jump forgot the franchise ever existed. It's the content creators here on YouTube that can channel the ghost of the franchise, that can remind people why Shaman King is cool. 30-foot swords, man. Think about it. 30-foot swords!